Wild animals don't watch TV. They don't read books. They don't order double cheese pizza and have it delivered. Wild animals don't do many things that we do with our mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters. But wild animals do have families of their own. Here's something that could happen in a human family. Maybe it's happened in yours. Baby wanders off on his own when Mama stops watching for a moment.
What's this funny thing good for? Somebody must have set it up here for me to climb on. Everybody knows black bears can outclimb anybody in the woods. So little time, so many places to explore.
Mama's found a snack, a bunch of angry little ants.
Guess this is high enough. Whoa! What's happening? Where's Mama when you really need her? Say, you don't suppose she'd let me come up here just to teach me a lesson, do you?
A mother black bear knows her cub has to learn its way around the woods. Bears grow up much faster than human babies. In just 3 years, this cub will be old enough to start a family of its own. What is an animal family anyway? A flock of geese isn't a family, but it might be several families together. A herd of caribou isn't a family either. An animal family is a father or mother, or both, and their young. Some animals take lots of care of their young. Others don't. Amphibians, like the spotted salamander, lay their eggs in water because they don't have shells to keep them from drying out. When the eggs are laid, most amphibians just go away and leave them. Reptiles, like the snapping turtle, who can bite off a careless person's finger, lay their eggs on land, even if they live in the water. The eggs have shells to keep the wet insides wet. Once a turtle lays her eggs, her family chores are done. The little turtles will dig out when they hatch, and their mother may never even see them. Reptiles and amphibians may not seem to be very good parents, but they're good enough. With so little care, many of the young do not live. But these animals usually lay so many eggs that at least a few of the young will escape enemies and other dangers to grow up. Birds lay fewer eggs, but take better care of them. Most birds build a nest. It might be on the ground, in a tree, or even floating on the water like this one. Usually both parents build it. When it's ready, the father stays nearby while the mother lays the eggs. This bird has been out to feed and has come back to incubate the eggs. To incubate is to keep the eggs warm by sitting on them. If they don't stay warm, they won't hatch. All you'll get is a pile of rotten eggs. This bird, called a grebe, is still incubating eggs after some have already hatched. It took several days to lay them all, so they hatch at different times. The hooded warblers in this nest hatched after 12 days of incubation, but many larger birds take longer. One species takes 12 weeks. If you're a baby bird, you know your parents have brought you breakfast when you feel the nest shake a little or when they call in a soft voice. When that happens, you open your mouth to beg. Unless you open up, they seem confused and won't feed you. Usually the hungriest baby opens first, and that's the one who gets the first bite. With baby birds, me first is the rule. This bluebird is taking a freshly caught insect to his young in a birdhouse nest. The babies are hatched pink and helpless, with only a few ugly strips of feathers. Like babies of many bird species, they can't see when hatched. They can't walk either, but that doesn't matter. In a bird nest, there's hardly anywhere to go. Baby owls are born helpless too, but are covered with feathers. This screech owl was fed in its tree-hole nest for a month, eating mice, insects, and other things the parents caught while hunting. Now the owl is waiting outside for a midnight night-crawler snack. Baby owls in a family hatch several days apart, so some may be bigger than others. The big ones hog the food and may kill a small, weak brother or sister. Nature isn't always kind. Baby ducks, geese, quail, and some other birds don't need so much care. They're up and walking when only a couple of hours old. But a parent must keep them covered at night or when the weather is cold or wet. Brooding is the word for keeping the young warm with the parent's fluffed out feathers. This young California quail is having a hard time settling down, goofing off when she's supposed to go to bed. That's her father brooding, but her mother broods too. In some other kinds of birds, one parent does it all. The first thing a quail sees when it hatches is its parent, and it follows the parent around till it grows up. This early learning is called imprinting, and if the first thing a quail sees is not its parent, but a person or even a friendly pet dog, it follows it like a parent. The young bird actually might think its mother is you. Young quail are so advanced when they hatch, their parents don't need to feed them. The adults show them where to find tasty insects and how to scratch the ground for seeds. The parents do watch for dangers and call out warnings. The young learn that a rabbit only wants to share their lunch, but a fox or a bobcat might lunch on them. Even a farmer's pig can look a little scary. Canada goose families are a lot like quail families. Young geese are clothed with soft feathers when they hatch. They can travel soon after hatching, on water as well as land. When a goose family goes out for a swim, the mother leads the way, the young follow obediently in a line, and the father comes last, guarding the family from danger to the rear. Young mammals are brought up differently. Mammals, like these raccoons in a hollow tree den, nurse their babies instead of bringing them food or taking them to it. In most kinds of mammals, the mother takes care of the young with no help from the father. This cottontail rabbit is nursing her babies in a nest in an old field. When she leaves to look for food, she'll cover them with plant scraps and bits of her own fur to keep them warm and hidden. Most mammals, including these gray squirrels, are born very small and helpless. They can't walk, and their eyes don't open for many days. Like some kinds of birds, some mammals are born ready to go. Deer fawns wobble to their feet a half hour after birth. They can walk around easily, but usually seem a bit puzzled about just where to go. Fawns nurse like all mammals, but begin to feed on tender plants when only 2 weeks old. At 4 weeks, the mother starts weaning her fawn, not letting it nurse so much, so it has to feed more on plants. By 10 weeks, the fawn will lose most of its interest in nursing. In summer, a mother deer may join other mothers with young, so there are more eyes to watch out for hungry coyotes or dogs running loose. The fawns find other fawns to run and play with, but they never go far from their mothers and still depend on them for a feeling of safety. Mammal mothers protect their young not just from animal enemies called predators, but also from too much cold or heat, from too much wetness or dryness, from fleas and ticks and plain old dirt. If a mother raccoon thinks predators have discovered her den, she may gather up her young at night and move them to a new, safer home. Hey, this cub's heavier than a suitcase. What do mammal fathers do to help raise the young? Nothing, if they're deer. Father and fawn don't even know each other. In kit foxes and some other mammals, the mother does get some help with the pups. The father goes out hunting for food for the family. Mother fox tries to get rid of a pesky flea, but the pup won't cooperate. But the day wears on, and the sun's up too high. Hunting's too hard. Meanwhile, the pups are practicing a few hunting moves of their own. They pretend their brothers and sisters are rabbits. Gotcha! Dad's coming home. Not a moment too soon. The pups are driving Mom crazy. But Pop just flops down. He'll wait until dark, then head out and find that cottontail's nest. It's hard work taking care of an animal family. For this worm-eating warbler, it's really hard. The big-headed baby in his nest is a cowbird, hatched from an egg laid there by its mother. Cowbirds don't raise their own young. The warblers don't know the cowbird is not their own, and the cowbird may throw the warbler's own babies out of the nest. In nearly all animals, the young will leave the family as soon as they can take care of themselves. The parents do not usually drive them away. Instead, the young go when they feel the urge. The house can get a bit crowded as the babies grow, but these chubby blue jays are far from ready for the world. Young raccoons remain with their mother for up to a year, but most wild families are together only a few weeks. In fall, quail families join other quail families to form a flock called a covey. In time, family ties weaken, and the covey is just a bunch of quail that hang together till spring. A colony of beavers who work together to build a dam is actually one big family. The parents and all their young from the past 2 years take part in the heavy lifting and chewing that make up a beaver's life. Canada goose families stay together a full year. They will fly south in fall, spend the winter, then fly back to the nesting grounds together. The mother and father geese usually stay mated for life. Hey, remember this mother bear? Sometimes a parent just has to put her foot down. If you're going to climb again, be careful, she seems to be saying. The whole point of animal families, like human families, is to help the young grow safely into the creatures they were meant to be.